Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here. What's one thing that makes your program different, stand out? It doesn't have to be just one. It could be more than that.
Yeah, so I'll do on the court, off the court. I think on the court, how we organize our practices throughout the year. Obviously, we're in a shared gym situation with other sports here. We're in a unique setup here at Point University. So we can't practice 2 hours. We don't have that amount of time. And so I think on the court, what makes us unique is our development of players. Every kid, 6 days a week, gets a half an hour with our staff in positional groups. We spend a lot of time shooting at that point, ball handling, passing, getting shots out of our offense, whatever it is, each player needs work on. That's what we're working on. We may pair bigs and smalls together. So we're working on feeding the post out of ball screens and relocating or this, that, and the other. But I think how we schedule our player development every day, we see kids grow, whether they're the best player on the team or the last guy. Every guy every day is getting better. And I think that's helped us in recruiting. We have great retention in college basketball where everybody's looking to, always jump ship and get to another place. Our kids love it because they're developed. And they, the majority of them, you have your kid here or there, but our kids like it here. They like our system. And I think off the court, we put a huge emphasis, we call it a discipleship group here of their life development, their spiritual development. We meet every Friday for an hour. We're actually going over this book right here. It's Quest 52, written by Mark Moore out of Christ Church in the Valley out of Phoenix. And we're just getting down to, guys, what's your foundation? What are you building your life on? And obviously we're a scripture-based school. And so, we're getting into some hard things and making guys deal with some tough topics. And we do a lot. We do a lot in that hour, obviously spiritually, but also life-wise, interviewing skills, resume writing, all kinds of different people from the community are invited in to help our guys grow as men.
Man, I just want to celebrate you on your approach of being, transformational with your guys, rather than just because the basketball part. I think a lot of us, we really love that part. We love talking about it. We love studying it. But yeah, I just had this idea of you probably say a lot of things to these recruits to get them there. Not false promises by any means, but try to guarantee some things to them that this is what you will get when you come here. So, but then what you say to get them there, I think it's like you have to develop them to keep them there. Because if a player doesn't feel like they're being developed, and hopefully it's in skill, but even more as a person, maybe that is why you see just this influx of players leaving. So it seems like you are onto something there with the way you're developing the person.
Yeah, no, it's we all know that kids are coming from different backgrounds. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but there's so much to be learned from each other in that environment. We're a Christian school, but it doesn't mean everybody's grown up in that type of home.
Right.
It doesn't mean everybody's grown up with a mom and a dad. It doesn't mean everybody's coming from a single parent home. You just don't know where people are coming from anymore. And so there's so much that's learned from each other throughout the year that I think that's what creates I call it our togetherness, our chemistry, that makes us unique.
You talked a little bit about that skill development that you have that time. is that separate from your team practice, like at a different, because if you're sharing gym time, but unique in the college world is they maybe have morning classes so they can come back at night.
Yeah.
Is that separate times?
Yeah. So at separate times, we're on the floor. We practice 6 days a week for an hour 15 to an hour 30. That's all we practice in a 5-on-5 setting. It's all system stuff. And then every kid comes in at 6:30, 7:30, or 8 o'clock in groups of 4, maybe 5, throughout the week to get skill development. And we have our entire staff. All 4 of us are here. We're hands on. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. Each coach has a guy, and we're just working on him and what he needs to work on within our system. I think the summer for kids is their opportunity to grow as an individual. But as soon as they step on campus, it's all about what you do to help us have success.
Hmm.
And so that's a big part of it for me.
I think that's special that you have those times separate. I think it's smart that you do that as well, because you and I have probably, as players, as coaches, we've been a part of programs where season starts, individual development is done. So then really your top 2 or 3 players are the only ones getting the reps to improve, the only ones getting the focus to improve. But like at your level, but even at the high school level, I mean, the more that we can make our individual pieces stronger, the better the team is, the better. And we can't promise our parents, especially at the high school level, we can't promise them playing time. We can't promise our players playing time, but we can promise them that they will be developed every day with their skill. And we're similar, where we have an athletic period that is just dedicated to that. And I think separating those like you've done is really smart, because if they're together, the tendency, I think, for every coach is going to be, man, we need to scrimmage a little bit longer. We need to go a little bit deeper into this. And that individual skill work time slowly gets taken out and eroded. So I think you're right on the money with what you're doing.
I appreciate that. And I think a lot of coaches, right? Like, what's our value when we walk in the gym? Our value is our eyes and our voice. And when the whole team's in there, most kids don't get your eyes and your voice. You're not correcting things. You're like, coaches have to correct. Like if a kid's shooting, it's great. He's shooting for an hour, but if his footwork's terrible, his release is bad, like he's practicing all the wrong things. And passing, like good night. Like we got a 6'11" monster in the middle, and like we got guards that for 10 years, 15 years, nobody's been taught how to feed the post. And talking about angles and all those kind of things. And so, yeah, it's just, I think if coaches can't have their eyes and voice on a kid, they're not getting better.
Let me ask you this question. So at our school, we play 5 out.
Yeah.
We don't post. Rarely. I might take one of my bigger guards in there, but we're all guards here.
Yeah.
We do work on passing. I mean, I think our system is really about getting to the world of the paint, and then either scoring, creating for yourself, or creating for others, and using difficult angles. Am I putting my players, at a disadvantage because of the system we play, that they don't do that action? Maybe they get that in select ball, in AU, maybe and that's another reason why you should play in the spring and summer for different voices, different styles. But if they are good passers through whatever style, when they get to you, can you help them to create and work into your system, throwing the ball where it needs to go?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think one, Matt, we how we play, our style of play is based on our personnel. And we got really fortunate with a 6'11" transfer from the University of Wyoming that had the chance to be pretty good. And if he wasn't here, we'd probably play a little different. And so, yeah, I mean, ultimately I go back to, you are what you emphasize, and that's something we're going to emphasize from day one here. We can't start till the 22nd of September, but yeah, I think it's about, teaching kids their footwork and angles and all those types of things that can help kids become a better passer. I think the more IQ that you can instill into kids, the better defenders they become too.
Oh, nice.
I've found that Don Meyer used to say it all the time. If I could find a kid that's a great passer, he's going to make our team and make our system look so much better. But our defense just got a whole lot better because they see things that other kids don't see. And that's always stuck with me. I'm a Don Meyer junkie, and so I love reading all his old stuff and watching old clinic videos.
Yeah, I think you made a great point there, because there is a discussion out there. Is it the style of player system that I don't care what kind of kids I have, they're going to fit into this? And I think unfortunately been that kind of coach before.
Yeah.
But then there's this idea too of you take the players that you have and you figure out what is the best for them. And then, if you're a coach that's not comfortable teaching something, but there's a style of play that is best for your team, I had a coach say, well, then you better get comfortable in it. You better learn. You better grow. So I think you've done that with this player that 6'11". That's incredible.
Like the small college level, at the end of the day, and really Division II on down, most of us don't get always the guys we want. I mean, that's the truth of it. And you got to get the best player, the best, and for me, it's character. You got to get the highest quality kid you can and the best player you can, and then figure out how to help them be successful. Now, obviously, we have pillars in terms of what we're trying to do, but that forces me to learn. That forces me to get better as a coach.
If you're dealing more with concepts, I think you can make concepts mold around your team. If you're dealing just with the continuity, this is our continuity, this is what we do no matter what, well, then you're running flex against Kansas and they're making you reverse the ball at half court and you don't even see. That's just personal experience.
Yeah.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.